Hello and welcome to today's video. This is the MyMentor orientation video discussing the learning contract and explaining what you need to know to help you communicate it to your mentee also. Thank you for coming. My name is Tanisha Tago. If you do have any questions during or after watching the video, please feel free to store them and send an email to mymentor@gsmlondon.ac.uk. So the MyMentor project is a mentoring scheme to support the level 5 students who are at risk of failing. All of the students who you'll be mentoring will have at least one module on their final set. And the scheme runs across the semester. So in this semester, it will be starting between week 3 and 4 and will be finishing, you'll be wrapping up your relationship with your mentee around week 9 and 10. We're very grateful to all of you for joining and agreeing to participate. So I'm just going to get started now. So what is a learning contract? Well, a learning contract itself is just a guide that allows you to measure and direct the mentee's learning and mentor's teaching in terms of the conversations and themes of your weekly discussions and the kind of experience that they would like to get out of it. What would they like to learn? What are their needs? What are the barriers that are holding them back from achieving? And you working with them to make decisions about the kind of tasks that they will carry out over the period of the mentoring relationship with yourself in order to develop and advance their skills in a given area. So it's a joint process, so we would like you to work with the mentee to do this, picking a few key areas that they would like to work on that you think are also achievable within the time frame. These need to be very specific and definitely very time sensitive, just based on the fact that it only runs during the semester, and the students as well as yourselves will probably have a very limited amount of time. So it's very important that learning outcomes aren't developed that would take a large amount of time and work, because at the end of the relationship we'd like to calculate distance travelled, and it's a lot easier to do if we can be certain that at least a few of the learning outcomes were achieved, because then we can know that the student would have actually benefited fully from the relationship. Also, this allows us to explain the mentoring process as a portion of the learning experience that the students will have here with us at GSM, and to kind of re-engage them into the process of learning, re-engage them into participating in their resits, re-engage them into looking over their assessments and taking responsibility over the work that they put in. So the reason we've actually asked you to develop a learning contract with the students is mainly because of the benefits involved. As you can imagine, students who have not been participating for a while would need some of the structure put back into the relationship they have here with us at GSM. And this allows you to implement structure into the relationship and have clear guidelines and boundaries through the learning outcomes to understand what will and what won't be tackled over the period of time that you'll be allocated to them as a mentor. Also allows you to define their needs and what exactly it is that they would like to learn. This is very important because we would like to develop profiles based on the students' needs that are identified, the boundaries and the barriers that they also identify, to see where we can develop various areas of the delivery to better suit students who fit those profiles, so that in future we have less students who are, at a position where they are at risk and on their final set. It also allows the mentees to really take ownership and make their own decisions in regards to their education, because as I've said, it is the final set. So if they're not able to make their own decisions and take any ownership, then it will be very difficult to just to get them to do anything else, really. So they're not going to be able to turn up to resits because they're just not interested, and we need to get them engaged, get them interested, and remind them that this is really all about them and what they do and what they put in to get something out. It also encourages individual learning, which is a very vital part, as you know, of the HE experience, having the students understand that they do need to learn on their own, spend time on their own, and be quite flexible with that, and learn to fit it into their lives. So hopefully that's a discussion point that can come about through conversation with your mentees. And then lastly, it's very, very, very important for self-reflection and self-management. Again, another skill which we would like to develop in these students in order to support them in bouncing back. If we are able to get them to, take these opportunities to submit work and actually pass and continue on, they will have a much bigger workload in level 6. And so it's very important that they're able to self-reflect and to find the key points in their lives that, they really shone through, and they were able to find their strength and tackle issues. And hopefully this will be one of those times when they can look back and say, I was actually on my final sit, and it would have taken one fail to get me out, but I managed to do such and such and get myself back together, and luckily I'm still here, and hopefully even luckily I've graduated. So that ability to self-reflect and see the differences between the good times and the bad times, especially within their learning experience, is very, very important for their self-management, which is something they're going to really rely on in level 6. So the reason that we see the learning contracts as improving the mentoring experience is actually basically because of the structure that it will provide to the mentoring relationships. As you're aware, a lot of our students vary in age. A lot of them are over 30. And so the idea of providing mentoring in that setting, they may or may not have had such a relationship before. And they may also be used to seeing you as a lecturer or just someone who usually helps out, or someone who was there for their induction. So it's very important that we do structure this relationship in terms of our actual student cohort. Mainly because if you do not start with a plan, you're likely to lose track of them. Also, having learning contracts provides us with documents that we can easily review. And I'm sure you can imagine the benefits of having access to information that can be reviewed at a later date if there are any discrepancies, or if you would like to see how the relationship is going with your student and make any calculations. Also, allows us with the information that we can then use to reflect back on as an organisation and as mentors, as well as the students, to really understand how the scheme has gone, where the strengths were, where the weaknesses were, and where the areas for development lie. And also to decide on whether or not more training needs to be developed, either for students, for the mentors, or across the institution generally. So this is the most vital point, because we would like to reduce the number of students on their final sits. So please do take the whole process very seriously, make as many notes as possible, feed in as much information back to us as possible so we can make the most of this learning experience as an institution. So that's that on learning contracts. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Please do try to watch the rest of the videos, most importantly the orientation video that applies to you, and then possibly the other one, just so you can understand what the expectations will be across the board. And thank you again for joining, and I hope to speak to you soon. Look forward to hearing from you all.